GSV peeps, Dangly Bob here, and welcome back to another episode of Kerbal Space Program. This is the last mission of the Making History DLC, and we are going to Duna. We are going to investigate the folklore of, I don't know if Kerbals have folklore, I'm sure they do, everything has folklore, of spiders on Duna. So we are being sent out to Duna. We have to get to the sphere of influence, we have to orbit it, we have to do some several scientific experiments, and then we have to change inclination. Now normally it takes about 6,500 and a bit DV to get to Duna, bearing in mind we have to do probably a couple of sort of minor inclination changes plus a major one. You know, we probably need a little bit more DV, so I'm never quite sure how the DV thing down in game here comes out with 4,688, and actually here, oh I see, yes, that's because that's what's atmospheric and that's what's on Kerbin. So, you know, on Kerbin for our first stage here, I've worked out we've got 394 tons. That lot should take us up to the majority of the orbit, a little bit of shuffling around on this, and then the last two stages here will take us to Duna and should give us enough to mess around with inclination changes. So I've got, say, Rockamax parts down here from the first stage with a couple of little of the vector engines and a Mastodon engine. I can't remember if the vector's one of the Making History parts or not, but I was keen to sort of use the Making History parts. This is a Making History mission. Could use solid fuel boosters, but just gone for some of these. And then further up here we've got a Bobcat engine with a smaller tank of fuel, just to sort of take us to Duna, and then to mess around at Duna I've sort of counted on a little bit more fuel for a satellite. Plus it's a slightly larger satellite because we've got a couple of these scanners which we actually need to take with us as part of the mission. Also wants a thermometer and the atmospheric fluid spectrovariometer, which is this thing down here. To power it all we have a couple of batteries, a couple of Z1000s and 4 sort of single-use solar panels, plus one of these winding out aerial things. What's this thing? The Communotron 8888. So got that sort of stuck in there as well, because actually Duna's quite a long way away, and I'm not 100% sure what the comms is like. And it's all powered by a Octo 2 probe core. So there we have it. Little reaction wheel up here, so I didn't have to worry about putting attitude adjustment and RCS on it. And that is it. I've put these things out. I wasn't going to use the robotic parts, but actually these scanners, particularly this one here, the M700, is a little bit on the large side. So what I've gone for is putting them out rather than having them sticking straight out, which makes them stick out a little bit further, is having them on here. It's on a hinge, so I can hinge them down and out when needed, and that should sort of save a little bit of space for when we're trying to put this fairing in. I couldn't put this middle fairing. Couldn't put the smaller fairing on. It was just too small. But this fairing here, actually, we could have saved a bit of space and gone in a little bit here. But yeah, we'll do what we can. So there we have something like that. And that's about it. That's all we need. Just need to check my staging here. Do we have? Why does that say octagonal strut? Octagonal strut. That's because that's what's highlighted up there. Interesting. Oh, let's put that back there. Right. So, ignoring it says octagonal strut down there. That's not. Those are my two engines. Then I've got the lateral staging here, which you can see these two are pumped in here. Not quite asparagus, but you know, it means I end up with a full tank over here when these get ditched. These are really just to get me off the ground and up a little bit where the main engine can cope. Fairing, and then up here we've got final staging and satellite engine. So if you take that, takes me up to about 8,500 DV there. So let's get to it. Go for launch, start mission. And because I'm recording this live, I must admit I did record this yesterday don't want Kerbals. I'll put it up just a minute. I did record this yesterday. Completely forgot to record any of it. Well, I didn't record it. I played it yesterday, played the mission, didn't record it, so this is not new to me. However, it may be new to you, so I won't give out any spoilers. But yeah, we are off to see the spiders of Mars, or find spiders of Mars. And the PR Kerman here says he built a probe, warned me about the Duna spider threat. At least no Kerbal will risk its life on this nonsense of a mission. Well, you're right, it's probably nonsense, but you know, science is proven theory. That's the difference between a theory and what is fact. It's the fact we're going to prove it, so we're going to go. Anyway, hope we don't have giant robotic spiders. I didn't know they were supposed to be robotic. There we go. We need to get to a 200-kilometre orbit first, so we're just going to lift off, follow a standard path as we get up there, and just save time on video and stop me burbling away too much. Just knock it over a little bit sooner than perhaps I would have liked. But anyway, yeah, I shall bring you back when we're in orbit. And we bring you back, and sort of made a bit of a messy orbit there, but luckily it's quite forgiving. We've got 208 apoapsis and 197 periapsis. So there we are. The next thing to do is go to Duna, and in order to do that, we can use Kerbal alarm clock like this. We can go add, and we can change to the find a transfer window. Find a transfer window, and to Duna here, it's telling us it's 2 years 43 days. Now, I need to perhaps have a look at how Kerbal window works, because I also know that actually if I close Kerbal alarm clock down and I open up my map and zoom out, actually I could probably get a transfer window from here, because I do believe if the angle between me and the sun and Duna is about 45 degrees ish, that's probably what I can do. So that's what I am going to do. I'm going to just tweak it out and put a manoeuvre, because we want to bend it out. We want to come around this side, add a manoeuvre there, go for a pro thingy burn, and come back out here. Here's our apoapsis to set that as target for a start. We'll want to tweak. Let's do it from here. How do we speed this next little section up? Because, as for reasons which will come very clear, this video is going to end up a little bit longer than it perhaps could have done, to be honest. And I tend to ramble a lot of absolute rubbish when I'm just tweaking manoeuvre nodes, because I can't think and talk at the same time, it seems. But as you can see, it's relatively easy to get an encounter with Duna. It's whether you get an efficient encounter with Duna that is the problem. And sometimes that's where perhaps even just playing with McLeod, even if you think it's cheating, just playing with McLeod and seeing what McLeod comes up with as to where you put manoeuvre node and what components it puts into it is to be the most efficient way of doing it. In fact, McLeod has two ways of doing it, efficient and inefficient. Worth having a look at. Zoom to that, and as you can see, we are going to get rid of our first stage halfway through this burn. So I thought the probe 2 core actually had it was the posher core and would let you hold target on the node, but it doesn't. But that's not too much of a problem, because it's fairly easy for us to do manually anyway. It's perhaps just not as accurate. So let's do that. Let's go for the burn and correct it slightly. Still a little bit on the wobbly side, see? That's the... what was that? Bit of an explosion. Have a quick look. Oh, the decoupler exploded because the engine went off at the same time. Yeah, shouldn't really be firing engines at the same time we decouple, but particularly if you've got like a twin exhaust system here. Just want to get up, try and get a little bit more on target. if we can get close enough to the encounter, that's fine. We can tweak it halfway there. So get ready to stop. That'll probably do because the node is disappearing off, which tells me that I'm probably nowhere near where my encounter needs to be. As you can see, we've lost it there, but that's fine. What we are going to do is we can put another maneuver node out here and just tweak it again so we can come a little bit retro, probably a little bit. Actually, it's not that far off, so probably need to leave the prograde and retrograde. No, don't want to do that. Go on. Just burn radial. There it is. Until we get it again. You see a 3-second burn. So now we are there. No, we're still down to time warp 100. Come on. There we go. Slowing down. And now we can derate our engine. He says, why can't I derate the engine? Let's get rid of this. Oh, I've made a boo-boo. We've no battery power. It's completely dead in space, and the problem I've got is that the engine can produce power, but I can't fire it up. I thought we could fire up dead craft, but that's if we don't have a signal. But this one has got no probe control because the electrics are dead because I didn't fire off the fairing and didn't extend the solar panels, and that's all my fault. So we are going to have to go back to the boffins and the beam counters and say, I hope you haven't thrown away the plans, and I hope we've got some money left in the bank because we need to build another probe. And this one is just going to whiz around in orbit like some sort of mad, dead, can't even cancel maneuver node on it, some mad, dead, sperm-like thing. And at some point in the future we could possibly send up a rendezvous mission to recover the parts or recharge the batteries and send it out to do another mission. But certainly it's not going to Duna and seeing the spiders. So I shall bring you back, probably when we're back in orbit rather than repeating all of that again. And this is going to cost me in snacks and donuts. And we're back, and even though this still thinks it's Duna 4, it's not really, is it? It's Duna 5. We all know that. We all know that I've cost, I don't know how many Kerbal counters, whatever they use. Probably snacks, actually. But first thing, let's get rid of this. Now, I could have put this in with that, so that it all deploys at the same time. But as we see, I'm not that keen on having everything deploy at the same time. So I'm going to manually deploy that now. Off it goes. Get to see our lovely satellite is perched on the top. And at that point there, I do want to also extend the antenna and extend the solar panels. I thought all these extended. If you clicked on one, they extended all, but obviously not. Never mind. Luckily, there's only 4 of them. Could have gone for the bigger ones, but yeah, I don't really think I actually need them. And that is it, he says, just scratching his brain just in case. As you can see, I've already set up my maneuver node to get my encounter with Duna. So first of all, we have to leave the sphere of influence of Kerbal, enter the sphere of influence of the moon, not the moon, the sun. There was a chance to get a slingshot, I believe, maybe, but sort of passed it up. Didn't think it was helping much, so oh, come on. And once I'm there, let's fire the engines up. Oh, going the wrong way again. Right, once I got rid of this for the remains of the first stage, it's going to be a lot easier to turn around, especially now we have power. Right, let's just go for that. Oh, what are you doing? Oh no, I see. Oh, crikey, yes. Okay, that's that gone. Oh, have I messed this up again? I have, haven't I? I've gone completely too early. That's why I wasn't at the manoeuvre node. As we speed up the next few minutes, or 20 minutes, or however long this bit actually took to do, I thought let's have a go at trying to get to Duna with what we've got. But it became very, very quickly apparent that because I'd burnt too early, my orbit was so far out that the correction was going to cost me way more DV than I had to spare, and even though, yes, making corrections at this sort of distance from your target is actually relatively cheap, I was still going to have to spend a lot of DV in actually getting a decent periapsis to Duna, as well as getting it in a decent time. So we decided that we'd go to the boffins and bean counters and blame interference from those dastardly mechanical spiders on Duna and suggest that we need to send another probe and maybe, I don't know, do something weird and wonderful to disguise its approach to Duna, so the mechanical spiders didn't get scared and interfere with our plans to investigate their activities. Okay, so we're back, and this here is Duna 6, and as you can see, we've got some parts we can recover, but for some reason, if I go revert flight to vessel spawn, we can show you exactly what happens this time. This is a doomed mission, this one. Look at this. Why is that doing that? Didn't do it the last few times. Is it because it's not quite on the runway? If I go back to, I'm going to revert back to the VAB, and that seems to have cured the problem. Excellent. So I shall bring you back when I'm suitably far enough into the mission that you've seen everything I've done. Okay. And I haven't made any more mistakes. And I bring you back, and I have no idea what version of Duna this is. Mission? It's Duna, let's just call it Duna 10, because I'm not going to take responsibility for them all. Those that blow up on the pad are down to the engineers, and these that blow up or get lost in space because I make a deadly mistake, then fine. Just show you where we're up to. Right, I'm at this stage here, so haven't finished off that one. Got about 1500 DV left in that one. And if we look at, I've escaped the influence of Kerbin. I am now in orbit around the sun, and I've just set up a little manoeuvre node there, which I'm hoping to tweak just to, because at the moment I actually don't have an encounter with Duna. When I left, I just, the rounding up percentages and such like, so it just needs a little bit of tweaking just to get it in. And I've done reasonably well. I've got myself to a point where I'm about 1.5 million meters or 1,500 kilometers away from Duna. Just going to tweak that a little bit more to put us into an equatorial orbit, because I've got a feeling that's what was needed. So come up, that is, well, that's brilliant. That is, yeah, equatorial, and at about 1.4 or 1,400,000 meters or 1,400 kilometers roughly. So, but as you can see, it's a 1 second burn. So we're going to go back and do what I was trying to do when I first made a very mistake. Delimit this down to about 10%. You can see that the calculator then takes up to 14 seconds, which is a lot easier for me to control. And actually, I could probably eyeball it onto the planet and watch the DV, the periapsis close in on the target. So we're going to move to. Actually, it's mainly an anti or a normal burn rather. So we're going to close in on that. Again, because we're doing this, if you're using McLeod, this can get quite accurate, but if you're doing it by hand, particularly where it keeps wanting to swing around, this is the weight of the engines counteracting the weight of the reaction wheel here, which is probably why we get some flexing around this point here when the rocket's a bit longer. But physics on it are a little bit or make it a little bit wobbly. Then come back to here, and I want to, actually can't see it from there, but we want to, so 6 seconds before the maneuver node. Let's say we're down to 12 days at the moment, so I shall bring you back once it's counted down, because I don't want to play around with it, mess it all up. Burn ourselves outside of Ike, and that will do me nicely. So let's cancel that maneuver node there, and the next thing to do, he says, thinking on his feet, because I've actually got to this point here. Just checking I don't mess it up again, but if we zoom to here, actually what we'll do is we'll put a maneuver node in here. Let's just check to see how much I get to put us into a stable orbit. 600, that's not bad at all. And again, I get an encounter with Ike. Is that going to help? Not really. It's interesting, it's very pretty. So we get an encounter with Ike there. We then, what's that? That's the Duna periapsis. Oh, I don't know. Let's just forget that. Forget Ike. Let's just bring ourselves into a nice little orbit. And I can't remember what the orbit is. We're needed, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Actually, that is roughly equatorial as well. So 700 dV. That's about half of the dV we've got. So I'm going to have to warp here. It's a 2-minute burn, so we don't want to get too close. It's a minute either side. And obviously we do need to point towards the, give ourselves time to point towards the periapsis. 240 days. So I'll bring you back when we're there. I'm going back. We're just in the influence of Duna now. So Linus here is telling us he wants us to put us into a 60-kilometre orbit. And yeah, let's do that. Make it equatorial with the rotation of the planet. Coming from seemingly a funny angle. I watched when I was running up and actually running outside of the orbit of Duna here to get to it. But that is, how far away is that? That's 3 hours away, and it's a 2-minute burn, so we want to get within 1 minute. Let's warp a bit closer. I think I've set the settings up there. If I click straight to warp to manoeuvre, it stops me about 3 minutes out, so could have used that. But we'll just do it this way, and a little bit of time warp. In fact, we'll go for a quick save just in case I overrun on the time warp. Not sure if I can quick save on this mission or not, but 16 minutes, 14, 13, oh. This is the problem with time walking in my manual. So I want to go for about 1 minute and 15, so we want to, I want to point to the blooming, okay, it's retrograde. Let's use that, retrograde, and a bit late, but to be honest, oh, and yeah, let's stop that. Let's revert the engines back up to full power. That's why it was taking a long time. Come back to here. Now we've got 17 seconds, so that's fine. We can come in and do it about sort of 8 at 9 seconds in. So we speed up the next few minutes because you've seen everybody set up an orbit around planets. This one's no different. There's a little bit of tweaking to get a decent inclination to keep the guys back at home happy, and at some point when we've raised our or lowered our periapsis, raised our apoapsis a little, or lowered our periapsis and then re-raised it because it was in the wrong place, eventually the guys at home are happy and we're allowed to move on to the next part of the mission. Also, we think because being round the back end of Duna here, there is no signal. We don't have any relay satellites set up, which I would have done if this was part of career mode. But as soon as we get around the other side of Duna, we can pick up a signal. But it just means we have to tweak our orbit a little from where we can tweak the orbit from where, rather than where we would like to tweak our orbit. Probably enough. Oh no, it will do. It will allow me that. So I say very forgiving. It wants us to fly over here, do some instrumentation. Right. I've only got 300 DV left in this section, but that's at this point here. I was half expecting to be out of fuels whatsoever, so I haven't actually tied these to one of these things here, an action set, so I can do it by hand. It's not a problem. So we'll wind out that one, and I want to just wind this one out a little as well. Can't go all the way because we've still got that last section there, but that there clears the scanner from the this is the bigger one, this is the one that needs to be sort of cleared. So wind that one out. And wind that one out as well. So can come all the way down if need be. And let's get these scanners scanning then, because that's what they're here to do. Always found it a little disappointing this one just opens out and then doesn't do anything. Yeah, I thought it would rotate or something, but it doesn't. But there we go. Right, so that's that. I need to now time warp around to here. Do our experiment. I think we can do any experiment whatsoever, so let's do the atmosphere analysis. Can't be done because we're not actually in the atmosphere. Atmosphere on Duna starts at about, let's do a pressure one, not pressure data, and let's send that home. There we go. Wait, everyone knows that the giant robotic stars live at Duna's poles. Something about ice and the magnetic field changing inclination to fly over the North Pole region right away. Go ahead and transmit science report there too. Right, okay, so North Pole. That's fairly easy to do. That is just going to be a anti-normal or normal burn. We can just eyeball this, I think. Okay, so here we are on a polar orbit. The beauty of a polar orbit is that we are going to lose the way I burnt it. Perhaps I should have burnt it side because we're going to lose the signal around here. Yeah, that's a shame. I should have thought about that and perhaps burnt it sort of at 90 degrees to where we've gone, but it'll work. Let's warp here. And do another experiment. What should we do this time? Actually, I can open these up. Well, I could open these up more if I wanted. But keep them clear of the engine. Log the temperature and send that home. No trace of giant robotic spiders yet. It's going to be anything. They're hiding at the South Pole. So fly to the South Pole. Reload Jill. Science report, South Pole. So round to the South Pole. Luckily we will have, when we get there, we will have radio control, or radio signal. I might have, I don't know. Don't know if my polar orbit's close enough, but I'll soon find out. I've got about 1200 DV left, so I've got some wiggle space, if need be. Back into signal again, brilliant. And yeah, we do. The marker's disappeared. That means I am got. Let's get rid of that. What should we do next? I don't think that can give us a science report. That can just toggle the resources on the planet if we needed to. I don't think that can give us a... Yeah. science report, so it's going to have to be temperature or pressure again. So we'll log the temperature, collect and record, transmit the data. It's brilliant. Okay, knock it off. No evidence of any giant robotic spiders. Never was. We can't let paranoid delusions dictate our scientific data. Those are never making real progress. Still, collected some decent data. Yeah. Months of analysing it. Yes, excellent. Spiders know it's invaluable. Jolly good. It's time to let Duna 10 take a well-deserved rest. Crash it in the name of science. For extra points, do it in the designated area. Right, okay, let's have a look. What area are they going to give us? Oh, around there. Now, it's on the dark side, but obviously that will rotate. Now, there's a number of ways of doing this. I can either change the inclination of my orbit, or, because I am in a polar orbit, as the planet turns, at some point it'll come underneath our existing orbit. I just deburn, or deorbit, and I think that's probably the best way of doing it. I've got plenty of fuel, but that's how we go. Now, does it actually want, because there is an atmosphere on Duna, so it starts off at about 50,000 metres, but will it cause a burn up and do I actually have to crash, or will it give me the will it give me the mission even if it burns up in the atmosphere? Let's fast forward time and get it underneath our orbit. And start the burn, and watch our periapsis come down. Again, I don't want to burn too close to the landing area because we'll have some atmospheric effect which will slow us down anyway, even if it doesn't burn us up. So let's have a go at that, shall we? Again, we'll have to increase speed. It will take us a little while to go. Do we want to bring the solar panels in or not? I don't know. It's all going to end up in a big fiery fireball. So let's just... It'll slow us down. Here we are. Yeah, we're just entering the atmosphere now. It's automatically brought the aerial in for some reason. Don't particularly want it to do. Let's go extend aerial because I want control. And just as we join the last few dying moments of Duna 10, it didn't burn up in the atmosphere, and actually, yeah, we've sort of missed the target by a little way, in fact, quite a long way, because the atmosphere didn't slow us down as much as we like. But there we go. And in a big fiery fireball, no bits left over whatsoever. And look at that, 12,500. We even got a gold award for that. So I don't suppose it takes into account that this is Duna 10, not Duna 4. But there, it doesn't say whether we've got any fly-through bonus for landing near the mission or not, or it might do. But thanks a lot for joining me. That is going to be the last episode of this series, and we are, well, pleased as punches with that. It wasn't as difficult as we thought it was going to be, that last mission. Well, apart from me making a few mistakes. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the series, subscribe to see some more. There will be some more Kerbal Space Program. We will do another series. I'll think about what it's going to feature. Maybe some of these mods, which actually these missions haven't allowed me to use. Hit the like button if you've cared to hit the like button. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and we'll see you all in the next one.